Good morning, FlossTube. It's Chrissy, finally a farm girl. It is Sunday, January 22nd. Welcome to my FlossTube channel. This is my 75th FlossTube. That's a serious number, and I am so thankful to have been to be part of this FlossTube community. I will forever hope that each and every episode greets you with, where I can just greet you with a smiling face and brighten up your day, brighten up your week, share and inspire. That's what FlossTube is all about. I am surprised, to say the least, that last Sunday night I did my second but bigger go live version of my FlossTube, as we had a birthday party during the day for my husband. I'm guessing that not everyone likes a live FlossTube. I tend to sometimes agree. I was met with some people that shared that it just isn't their thing. It does turn into, a lot of saying hi, hello to those that join in because you are live, and that is the nature of a live FlossTube. You're actually in live time, being able to talk and share with those in this community. For many of us, when we come to a point in our day where we go to FlossTube, maybe that's not what we're looking for. Maybe we're looking for a quiet, recorded FlossTube that shares without interruption, I guess I'll say. So I want to make sure that that y'all know that this is the primary way that I will always share on FlossTube. I do think it's important to grow and learn and try new things, and that's what I did. Funny that I might lose subscribers over that, but that is what happens. That is the life of FlossTube. It is not anything that I worry tremendously about. I will always stay true to the fact that this channel is mine to share and continue to grow. I don't think that anybody just decides to do a FlossTube and not think that there's going to be growth that comes with it. So I just wanted to take 2 seconds and say thank you to those that have been here for this whole journey. I love absolutely getting messages from those that have been with me since FlossTube episode 1, which I know may have looked a little bit different. My FlossTubes, I think people are accustomed to them being in this setting where we're just having conversation and sharing my week and sharing stitching, and I think that there's a time and a place for a little bit of everything. So that being said, it was fun. I loved being able to see all of those jump on and say hi that night. It was definitely different. This week for me was a little bit different again. Unfortunately, Philip, he hit his head on the corner of my nightstand, and anytime somebody who struggles with a seizure disorder, head trauma can wreak havoc. So I was quiet this week on social media, and it happened Monday night, and so I pretty much, my week is always with family and him as a priority, but this week especially was about caring for him, watching him, making sure the signs and the healing was happening, and we did, and so that was a big part of my week. There was not anything else I can think of that took more precedence than making sure that he was okay. And he's doing great. So if you are new to my FlossTube channel, I usually try to share a little bit about my week in the past, since I record on Sundays. And that was it. I mean, that was Monday night, and bless his heart, it's part of it. When he has little breakthrough seizures, it will come through in a jolt, and he was picking up his stuffed animal, and he had a jolt, and it happened to go right into the nightstand. So, and I was within 1 inch of him. Things can just happen. So, all is well. No hospital, no stitches, no anything like that. Just watching, and we are doing really great. So I have learned over the years the best thing to do is rest. And that's what we did. So that also meant that there were quite a bit of stitchy time going on. So let's get started. During my live FlossTube, I shared with you a pattern that my friend Tina Agner of Team Agner put out, her second cross-stitch chart. Her first one was back in 2016, and I shared that a few times, and as people came on in the live, I continued to share because people come and go. So I also think that can be was a little frustrating too, because I didn't want anyone to miss out, and I know that oftentimes a lot of people don't go back and watch a recorded live. I'm not sure why that is. It just seems to be that way. So I shared her very first cross-stitch pattern, which is in her Etsy shop, and it was called, I'll share it again, Candy Hearts. And I shared my finish of this. And I did mine all in a red work. And so I had encouraged her, as well as Ginger Scholl, who actually ended up stitching her latest design. And yes, she has a 2023 really sweet Valentine sampler that she created. And so you can get that in her shop, on her Etsy shop. And I wanted to share with you my finish. I will be today, one second here. Today I'm going to fully finish it and add it to my dough bowl with my Valentine finishes. But this is, let's see, this is mine. Ooh. Okay, let me get this straight here, because I made it my own. So you need to look at her pattern so that you can actually see, how it was charted. But I went ahead, let me come over here. I went ahead and I did my own colors. So my bottom here is in like I kind of did like a gradient type of a change as I went. I started at the bottom left. I stitched the bottom in the pink, and it is called Patient and Kind. That's the name of the pattern. I went up and I got a little bit of a red going, and then I came up in here and I changed out. She has her and her husband's initials, and I put my grandparents' wedding date. They were married in 1942. Let's see if I can get this up here closer for you. And then what I did was I used the pink for their first initials. So the A is a pink for my grandfather, whose name was Albert, and then the V is a pink because my grandmother's name was Virginia. And anyways, I just ended up with a deep red. I think it was an 815. I literally just grabbed some floss, and I just had a really good time with this. I believe, that was a scrap. I believe it's Heartland. I'm pretty confident this is a 32 count. If it's not Heartland, it's something very, very close like that. And that's why I love hanging on to my scraps, because it was perfect. And I will admit, it was like the perfect stitch for after Philip. I didn't need a big pattern. My mind, if any mom knows that when your kid gets hurt, it just kind of wreaks havoc on you. So this was absolutely perfect, no-brainer, sweet stitch, and I still feel like it was so nice to make it personal. And now I have something, or will have something in my dough bowl that will represent a very strong and lasting marriage. And what a sweet, what a sweet reminder to have. Now, I already have, since I know I'm going to do a pillow finish, I have these keys that I got at Hobby Lobby. And it comes with both brass, like antiqued, and then the shiny silver. And I have, from a different project that I never used, but I got the end of the bolt, which I was thrilled with. There was, don't ask me what I'll use it for, but over time I will. But I got red ticking from Hobby Lobby, and there was 3 yards, and it was like 70% off. So seriously, I'm like, just give me the rest of the bolt, because this is so me anyway, so it will get used. And I love the fact that it has more the muted ticking. So this is kind of where I'm at. And I'll be excited to get that into a fully finished today, and then I'll share a picture. So it was a lot of fun, and it was the perfect stitch for me. I will share one more thing about Team Egner's Etsy site. All of her Valentine stitches, she also has a quilt pattern. Those are on sale. There's a discount code, and it's through today, Hearts 20. So if you even, I wanted to reshare it because those that maybe did not see the live FlossTube, I wanted to make sure that, I reshared it before the sale went off, because I know sometimes we don't always catch a live, and it just seems like I wanted to make sure that you, in a FlossTube that was recorded, that you got to hear about it. I wanted to take 2 seconds and just say that I absolutely think it's so important for us to share other designers, and I really still, I don't struggle with calling myself a designer. I'm not a mature designer. This has not been something I've been doing. I've been doing it a little over a year now, or no, not even a year. Sorry, in March it'll be a year. But I think sometimes people would think maybe I wouldn't want to share others. Absolutely not. I love reading about those on Instagram, and those designers that are seasoned, that still will share other designers' work. That's everybody's own personal opinion, but I think it's important, and I will continue to share patterns and things that I love, and other designers. This is FlossTube. That's what it's all about. But even on Instagram, I came into this after my Instagram has been around for a good long while. So I won't be changing anything. I will continue to share on Instagram other patterns, my designs, my family, my faith, all of those things. So I'm me, and it just kind of needs to stay that way. I'm sorry. I think I just bumped you. Still getting used to sitting at this desk with the laptop and the webcam, and I think it's coming along, and I'm doing a little bit better. But it's still not easy. Okay, so one of the things that the last 2 FlossTubes ago is I had started Whole30, and I made it 15 days. And then we had a birthday, and then I was invited to dinner, and then we had social events. And that is funny for me to say that, because a special needs mom, there's not a lot. If I'm doing a social event, it's a stitching event. However, it made it very difficult to do Whole30. You don't walk into somebody's home who's prepared a beautiful lasagna meal and go, not eating it. So I did it, and I was doing very well. I'm gonna sneeze, excuse me. I'm so sorry. And so today I will start over. And I got a lot of messages that people loved what I was sharing, the little ins and outs. What I try to do is track my days by sharing something that I ate. So it reminds me of the things that are out there that I can, that I can grab. What I think I'll do this time is share it. If you are an Instagram follower, I will share it in my stories. I think that's a little bit easier for me to do, and I'll go that way. So not that you needed to know any of that. I just, for those that do, this has just been I've always had a little bit of a struggle with weight. And I think when you are sedentary, like I am for the most part with Philip, it's a constant battle. And I'm also a stress eater. So guilty as charged. So it was a rough week, and I feel a lot better today. And so today is day 1, and I will start Whole30 over. So anyways, in case you wanted an update on that. Okay, let's see. What else did I stitch? Oopsie. All right. I knew Saturday is Saturday Santa stitching. And Linda has joined us officially now. We are stitching, me and Tina and Linda, Stitchy Linda, are all working on Christmas Eve. Let me see if I can get over here. There you go. The Prairie Schooler Christmas Eve. And last time we were together, I was missing the floss color. It's all DMC. I'm using all the called for. And I was missing the floss for the reindeer. So I picked that up, and this is my progress. So I took this on Wednesdays. I go to my dad's and I do dinner and a movie at my dad's house. And so I did not have anything that was just a great traveling piece, so I did sneak. And I knew Saturday night I would be model stitching for market, so I went ahead and traded my Saturday out, if you want to call it that. So I took this to my dad's Wednesday night, and I love this so much. Oh my gosh. I really love this. Let me see if I can get a little closer. It is a little hard to see this little design on Santa's sleigh there, but you can see it when you're right in front of it. So right now the next thing I have is to start filling this in with the quilt on Santa's lap. But I feel like I made some pretty good progress. Sorry about that. And I do have a start on the first reindeer. And I was able to get in my second house. So I love this. I can't believe I waited so long to start stitching Prairie Schoolers. I'm stitching this one on 28 count wheat Lugana. I love it. So these are the called for floss. My husband always says, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm grooming my floss." He just thinks, well, I'm crazy. So anyways, just really nice, simple, traditional Prairie Schooler colors, and this is really such a great piece to take with some really good solid stitching. So I need to find a new one to take to my dad's, and I a model that I'm working on, I think has filled that spot, which will work out perfectly. So I am ready for Wednesday at Dad's this week. Let's see here. All right. Now, this is not for market. It is my design. I thought I would just share it. I love doing Halloween designs, so I could just share a little sneak peek. I have my first skeleton, and that frog is so fun. So it's a Beulah design, Witch Beulah, and this is going to be the night before the night of Halloween. So I wanted it to have a dark sky, and the floss I'm using, I didn't go as dark as the last Prairie Schooler I did. This is 28 count Lugana Spooky, and that's by Be Stitch Me, which I love that. So anyways, that's my start, and it's pretty cute and it's pretty fun. It was fun to do a skeleton and do something new. There's another new little tidbit that'll come soon, but I did enjoy that one day while I was hanging out with Philip, and it made me happy. There's something about a happy skeleton and a crazy happy frog to make you get through. All right, let's see. I talked about on my live and before this sampler. Let me see if I can get myself a nice piece of paper. This is an antique sampler that I had bought called Ada Elizabeth Smalley's, or Smalley, because what she's got is, okay, and it's 1875. You can't see the pink. This is what I was going to reproduce for market, and I am still hoping to. However, when I was designing it and reproducing it, I'll get a little closer. She has made different mistakes than the typical where they might run into and touch a vine with their letter because they didn't leave space. She's 7 years old and she's adorable. I love the reds, and I love everything about how colorful this is. It has a berry bowl, has a butterfly, but she missed threads. So if you stitch 2 over 2, she would go and do 2 and do a stitch and skip 1 thread and then do another, and so it's off. So I had asked on my live, I felt a little concerned about that because I can't reproduce that. It'll be wrong for you, and you can't stitch it. So I slowed down, and I'm halfway done. There's still a goal, and although market, you're supposed to have reveals and all that, I am just being honest. I think that this is one I have to be careful of, so I'm halfway done. I will have to stitch it too if it's going to go to market. I think she's so cute for a 7-year-old, but this is when you can really tell when someone is working maybe with scraps. So if you look at the amount of time that she has changed colors, it's like the V. Sometimes she'll just grab, okay, there's a dark blue maybe laying on the floor. I don't know, but it threw me a little bit for a loop because that missing of that thread happened more than one time. So on my design, I'm off. It's correct, but I'm off, and it's not that I'm not charting her mistakes. I'm charting those mistakes so that it's completely an authentic reproduction, but it is going to look different because at the end I did not miss a thread. As far as spreading it out, 1 or 2, I'm off by 2, let's say 2 stitches. So I needed a little break from that, and I wanted to make sure, because I want to be able to still call it a reproduction and not an adaptation. And an adaptation is when, and I know a lot of you already know that if you're a sampler lover, but that's when you decide, hey, I just wanted to make this a red work sampler, so I adapted it to my own liking, and then, you know, reproduce it. So I wanted it to be a reproduced sampler. I've already bought all the floss. I love the colors. So this is Ada Elizabeth Smalley, and it says Smalley's possessive. It's her work in her 7th year, 1875. I absolutely love this. I'd like to know a little more about her, but I did put it on pause, and that's why I just wanted to make sure that I was, you know, moving forward with it correctly. So I keep her well protected, and I am close, but it also takes a very non-stressed brain to work on something like this when you're looking at the stitching and then putting it into your program. So that being said, last week my brain was not in the right place for something like that. It just wasn't. So that is that. Let's see here. Okay, I wanted to share with you my Chessie and Me. And on live, I may have mentioned that I ran out of the red, and I need to get a new one. I need to get the new color. Hold on one second here. Uh-oh. Oh, no. There it is. Okay, so this is Chessie and Me, and it is my Mabel Lee reproduction sampler. Let's see if I can get it a little closer for you. It was a perfect one I could stitch while I was also doing, you know, market projects and things like that. And I've never done a Chessie and Me. Okay. Oops, I got threads on here. So this came as a kit from eBay. See if I can get it in here for you. But, oops. I was excited to get Mabel, the name, in. Really excited. I think there's something about when you're stitching a sampler, when you put the young girl, you know, or boy's name in, it becomes even more special as you're stitching it. So this is Mabel. And I'm working on the motifs. And when I get the red, I will be able to put in the word Lee. And then there's only, she is 10 years old. Mabel Lee is 10 years old. And I don't have too much. But down here, looks like these motifs, I don't know if you can see that. They are crosses. Let's see here. They're like crosses in a, it's not like in a bowl. So there's 3 crowns actually in this. There's a couple of dogs, or possibly horses is kind of what they look like. They have a very long tail, and then these crosses, it looks like it's the 3 crosses. So anyways, it didn't come with any other type of information, so I don't know any more about Mabel Lee, but I will say I have really enjoyed stitching a Chessie and Me. I really like it, and the charting is really nice. So if you're ever interested in stitching a red work, Mabel Lee is your gal, and hopefully you will see a finish next week, because I'm that close. It's a very easy border. You need to stitch your last name and put in a few more motifs, and that's it. So I want to frame, I have two red works. One is a Whilst Iris Snaps, and then I have this one, and they're both vertical like this, or horizontal like this, and longer and skinnier. And that is what I'm gonna put right in there. I want to fill in the bottom underneath, because the last couch I had, it was tall. So I thought those would be, I'd love to get some red works out on that wall. And so those both go like that, and I will protect them with glass because the cats just love to sleep on top of the couch. Okay. All right, I had a FFO this week, and I am thrilled to share with you that I got my Prairie Schooler, back from the framer, and I am thrilled with the frame and the detail. So let me get it up there. I love this. I really am so glad. It was not easy stitching on that blue. It is a little darker than the one I'm using for the Halloween design I'm working on, but this, I'm so glad it's done, and I'm so glad I carried through. I felt like, I don't know if you can see the detail in the frame. Let's see here. If I get up closer, there you go. I felt like the simplicity of the border and the stitch allowed for me to have a little bit more of an elegant frame. And so there's this beautiful like carving work on there. But I do still love to frame my Christmas pieces in black. And it's just, they can be different, but I don't know why I love that, black and red. But either way, it's just was, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I think I am getting close to being able to have a Christmas wall this coming Christmas. So especially, I intend to stitch Christmas all year, and I have the next Prairie Schooler well underway. And of course, then I want to start another one. I know that Cricklewood Crossing, she is working on the Prairie Schooler Nativity, and I have that in my bag, and I want to start that one too. So, anyways, this was so much fun getting it back, and I absolutely love it. Hobby Lobby, Mike at Hobby Lobby does all my framing. I've shared that before, and he just does a phenomenal job. Not only did I pick up that FFO, but I've picked up 3 other FFOs from him for market. We've tried a couple of new things. I can share with you that there is a Matilda coming out at market, and for the first time, she is a flat finish, and she threw me for a loop. She really did, because I thought I was going to finish her one way, and I'll be darned if it didn't work out. And so I was like stumped and like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And so I took her for a little walk with me and went through Joann's and had an idea, and I'm so glad that it didn't work out the first time around. So I'm really pleased with her, and now she has a little bit of a special detail to the finish. So I'm excited for you to see her. She is a spring Matilda, and as soon as we can, I believe mid-February is about when designers will start giving sneak peeks, and or even I think sneak peeks or even full reveals, so you can start doing pre-orders. Anyways, so I'll be excited that I can share that. Okay, haul. What did I get from haul? All right, one pattern. I'm doing really good because I would feel completely overwhelmed if in fact I was purchasing 10 patterns a week and yet not stitching on anything besides like market or the small ones I'm doing. So I'm glad that I've not added too much, but I have been watching the Blue Flower and this Huckleberry Farm for a very long time. So I think that Tina and I are going to stitch this together. I don't quite know when. The cool part for Tina is her house, besides the difference in color, looks just like that. I, on the other hand, wanted to stitch this because when we were living at the farm and had just moved in, our side yard where our sliding glass door was, there was no deck off it. It was just stairs going out. A big black bear went walking through, like we disturbed, you know, his habitat by building our house. Even though there was still 7 acres surrounding it, it was just like Randy took a picture and sent it to me on my phone. I think I was in with Philip or something like that, and he's like, "You are never gonna believe what just walked through our yard." And it was a big black bear. So I thought that would be kind of a cute story to go with this, and so I grabbed that pattern from the Blue Flower. She has several other, a lot of animal related patterns, but I've never stitched one of hers, so I'm kind of excited to finally have that one. I think that one goes back to 2020. I want to say it was at market too, but I'm not confident on that one. The other thing I got was, it's almost that time again. It is almost time for me to do the second limited edition for Prevent Child Abuse. Last year, one of the very first things I did after designing Winter Messenger, the snowman, and I think Ruby the rabbit. My sister is a director and she works at Prevent Child Abuse Georgia, and so I wanted to use my channel and my designing and give back. So I designed a limited edition chart, and it has the pinwheels, and it had a bear and little animal friends, and I made it stitcher friendly where you could take off the words if you wanted to. And what I did was 100% of the proceeds for the month of April was donated to Prevent Child Abuse, and y'all just rocked it like huge, and I am so thankful for that. And then the pattern was taken out of the shop, so I have designed the second limited edition for 2023, and I purchased from Fat Quarter Shop. They had, or I'm sorry, 123 Stitch. Let me see if I can get it from. They had some really cool pinwheel fabric, and it has all the blues because Prevent Child Abuse is all about wearing blue, and the pinwheels in the front yard. And so I've got my fabric, and I got that from 123 Stitch, and it is by Moda, and it is called, 1 second here, Holiday Essentials Americana Stacy Test Sue, I think. Either way, you know, it can be used for other things, but this actually works perfectly. So that leads me to the next thing that was kind of cool that happened. And I don't know, because I shared it on Instagram, but I did not share it on here. If you all know Jeremiah, my frog design, and then he met Miss Jenny, and you all have met Miss Jenny, and then at Christmas time I put out Hoppy Together, a design where they he had asked her out. They've been dating very seriously for a while. We chatted the other day, and actually I think he's ready to make a move, or a jump I should say, and that'll be coming soon. So, but the exciting part is that in the Needlework Retailer magazine, Jenny was in it. And I don't know if you can see that good enough. There she is, right there. Woo. And there was a little write-up over here, and it says, Yarn Tree now distributes Finally a Farm Girl. You can see why Jeremiah is smitten with Miss Jenny. Look at those lashes. Miss Jenny loves to read, stitch and is a true Southern belle. Whether she's sitting on a log with a good book or stitching by the light of the moon, she has stolen Jeremiah's heart. Okay, so I was absolutely thrilled that Miss Jenny made it into a magazine, and of course I kept it. And of course, when I was sharing that with Jeremiah, he shared with me his plans. So stay tuned for that, because we've got exciting times ahead. Okay, let's see here. Oh, one more piece of haul. Okay, this here. It's kind of silly. Whoops, let me get down there. It's literally from the Target dollar spot. It was a house. $3, and I thought it might be fun eventually to put something inside here. I don't know what. For some reason, it looks more like a doghouse to me, so maybe a dog could go in there. I don't really know what, but I thought it was nice. It already had the white background, and it'd be kind of cute for a flat finish, so snagged that. Originally, I was thinking that I was going to put my Matilda in there, and it didn't work. It did not work, so it's just going in storage for right now for finishing supplies. Happy Mail. Okay, Happy Mail, I have to say I got a really sweet Happy New Year's card from Annie the Proper Stitcher, and I don't know that I've ever gotten a Happy New Year's card, but how cool is that? So she's such a sweetheart. We all love her to death, and so I noticed, and I shared on the live, that she has her own, she's co-hosting her own retreat, and I am so proud and happy for her. That is so exciting. So cool. Okay, now planners. Linda and I have been doing our book a days. This was one of my Christmas gifts from Linda, and now I'm doing pretty good. Sometimes I'll go a couple of days and then I'll go update it. You're not going to be able to see the pink, but I did have a sticker that said fresh start. It was really meant for January, for a new year, but I used it because that is the day I started Patient and Kind, and I've been tracking when I finish it, when I go to my dad's, and when we have birthdays. So pretty much I've been keeping up, and I'm pretty impressed with that. I'm kind of getting in the swing of using it. So I record when I do my floss tubes, and then the second planner, because that one doesn't give me quite enough room, the second planner I'm using right here, again, I basically have to add in Saturday, so I'm keeping up to date with it. And this is where, in this one, this is where I am, it's by my side, and this is where I am tracking what I watch, and maybe a little more detail if it needs more space. So I track who I watch on FlossTube in here, and I have to tell you 3 things I watched this week that I just had so much fun. I watched Hannah. Her name is Hannah, and she is called the Stitch Fairy. She's out of Tennessee, and it was her very first floss tube, and it was such a thrill to see that she stitched Matilda Sews, and it's adorable, and she used her favorite color for the floss on the spool of thread with Matilda. So if you get a chance, check out the Stitch Fairy, and her name is Hannah, and she is from Tennessee. And she did a beautiful job. She did a beautiful job. I think that there are some people that are just absolutely meant to sit in front of a screen and be able to do this, and it just seems to flow. They don't stutter, they don't do anything like that. But it is not, to me, that's not the norm. I think any of us that decide we're going to pick up and do this, I still say, and I try very hard not to. So, and I did it just there, see? Give her a follow, subscribe, and check out Hannah the Stitch Fairy. The other one that I watched was the New Hampshire stitcher. She is stitching on some beautiful pieces. Blackbird, just for somebody who got into stitching not too long ago, I want to say maybe a few years ago, phenomenal stitcher, beautiful pieces. I just, was blown away at her ability to sit in front of a camera and record FlossTube like she's been doing it for 20 years. So easy to watch, and her pieces are beautiful. So a shout out to the New Hampshire stitcher. And then I'm pretty sure everybody found them, but I watched Antique Needleworkers, and that was eye candy for sure, in the sense that even though it was a long first FlossTube, it is recorded in one of the stitchers on her farm, and there's like family farm connected, and the story, it just like sucked me right in. She's got like I think it's like a mill, I'm not quite sure, but oh my gosh, she has this phenomenal workshop area that is on her farm. And I mean, I know y'all saw it because I saw the numbers of people that watched that FlossTube. So good. But I did catch that, and I will definitely watch them again. I know their local needle shop is Keepsakes. And that leads me to another special thing that happened this week that I had not shared with you, but I was able to be one of the designers that sent up a trunk show for the annex at Stitch Away that Keepsakes put on this past weekend. I am not gonna lie, I was nervous and equally as excited to be in an annex, especially the magnitude of what Barbara Hills of Keepsakes puts on. That alone was, I just felt very blessed that she would give me that opportunity. So first and foremost, thank you, Barbara, for that. I cannot thank her enough for welcoming Matilda and Jeremiah and Winter Blessings and Witch Beulah and all the little characters that I've created and some other things, and put them on display in a beautiful way. So if you get a chance, if you go watch on FlossTube, Keepsake's most recent FlossTube, it's only about 18 minutes long, and they do a short video, and you will see my trunk show there as well as everybody else's. I believe I was right next to Heart and Hand, which made me feel really good. There is something really special about her, and I kind of just had a little, gave me a little piece of comfort, I think. I don't know why. But anyways, it's a really cute video. You will see Judy Whitman, who now has been announced was the surprise featured designer, Judy Whitman of JBW Designs. And she created a beautiful, beautiful design for the retreat members. And then there was news that Keepsakes also now has an online shop, and I know that I won't give you misinformation. I believe that there's maybe only one thing out there right now, but the news is they now have an online shop. But the big thing for me was, although I've had a few pieces of mine sent to Welcome Stitchery before, to Justine, this was my first big trunk show and my pieces put on display, and they were part of Stitch Away. So to see a few people share what they bought, and know that this was a big thing for me, and I feel very thankful and very blessed that Barbara would open her world and her annex up to finally a Farm Girl design. So that was really exciting, and now I'm excited to get them back, because it does make you a little nervous that Matilda's traveling, but at least she's got her friends with her, right? Okay, so I think we are all caught up. When the models get back, I will be able to share with you those that I already released. So that'll be a nice FlossTube for maybe next weekend, maybe next Sunday. I will be able to share with you 4 of those, 4 finishes that went up to Stitch Away, which, by the way, that place looks fun. If you watched Pam and Steph, if you watched anybody that was sharing anything on Instagram, I want to go to that. In the annex, they had a roaring fire. Well, I just can't imagine shopping for a cross stitch with a roaring fire in the room. How much better does it get than that? So I feel like that is on my bucket list for 2024. Right now I feel like 2023 it's kind of busy for me. So next up, since the trunk show is over, that was the first part. Market will be in March. There's only 6 weeks left. And then StitchCon is, if I get back from Market, which is the beginning of March, then StitchCon is the beginning of June. It's always around Philip's birthday. And I just know it. So it's literally only a few weeks after I get back from Market. That's a big trip. I am excited to go see everybody again. And then that's summer, and it gets pretty hot, so we'll probably slow things down a little bit. But 2023 is it's being kind to me, and I feel that God has opened some really not only windows but some really big doors too. And I will tell you point blank, if you're a floss tuber, don't worry about the subscribers as much as just staying true to yourself. It is a very easy thing to get wrapped up in, and I know that I will just let me just chase God and not subscribers. Let me just be there for those who enjoy my channel and come along for the ride, and let's just keep inspiring and smiling and sharing, and that's what this is all about. So that being said, have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. I am excited to keep stitching. The one over there in my chair is a model. I completely flipped things around, and I was sitting with Philip. I know I got sidetracked, but I had this design come into my head, and I'm so glad that it did. I am so glad that I put the sampler aside for a moment, and that came out, and I couldn't be more happy. So I am trying to stitch as fast as I can, but enjoy it as well. But I'm pretty excited about that one sitting over there. So it'll be the biggest piece that I've done, and it definitely is kind of speaks a little bit to my heart. So I will be excited to share that with you, and soon, hopefully soon. So okay, back to what I was saying. You guys have a great week. Smile, be blessed, happy stitching, and don't forget to floss, guys. Bye.